Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking sort of about my university experience. So the course I studied was computer games design and development. I studied for 4 years, so I had to do foundation before I led into my degree. Most of my assignments were kind of individual based. There were a few that were like group based. So obviously we would pick our own groups and then sort of divvy up jobs between us all. So like first year was kind of sort of teaching you sort of like the kind of fundamentals that I needed to know. So we did like obviously about programming languages, because that's what we would be doing throughout the rest of our degree, would be coding. And the coding languages that we used was C# and C++. We looked into a bit of Java, but it was only really like sort of using Codecademy, like online little things, but we never actually coded in Java. I've never coded a game in Java. We looked into like operating systems, so like different operating systems, sort of history behind games, and kind of also behind the systems that we use to make games. So I made games using Unity throughout pretty much my entirety of my degree. There are obviously other gaming engines, but that was the gaming engine that my uni decided to go with. Second year obviously was a step up from what you learned in first year, so it was just kind of, they expected you that you know a bit more coding at this point than you did when you started. Some of us were coders before we came to uni and knew sort of how to code. Other people had never coded in their life, so that was kind of what first year was more, is just sort of teaching you like sort of what we needed to know. Second year obviously I did a few different modules. So I did game asset creation, that was sort of making game assets. Also had to make level design for it as well. There was also doing like I did a module that was about networks, so like looking into sort of how networks use and why we need them to sort of like get games to work, and sort of just in a general based kind of thing as well, because for that assignment we had to connect a network together. So I did one for basically a student accommodation. So it was like you have X amount of people that live on floor 1, floor 2 and floor 3, and there's X amount of like TVs in the house, a printer, but they wanted you to sort of connect all of these people basically to a Wi-Fi network together, and you had to explain how you would do that and why you chose to use certain cabling. So like if you use like Ethernet or coaxials, like stuff like that. That was one of the modules that I had to do. And then third year I had two like compulsory modules. So that was advanced mechanics, which led off of game mechanics that we did in the second year. It was just a step up. So basically game mechanics was basically we had to focus on the mechanics side of things. So for example, like getting a player to move as a mechanic, getting a car to move, getting a wheel of a car to move, things like that. We kind of just had to focus on that side of things. And then the other optional module was creating virtual worlds using the GPU. So that was basically doing like tessellation shaders, geometry shaders, stuff like that. Everything that we were doing would be generated by your GPU of your laptop or your PC. And then I had to pick two sort of like optional modules. So I chose multiplayer and mobile game, just because those interested me and those are ones that I wanted to do, as well as on side doing my dissertation. That was done throughout the third year obviously. My dissertation, it is on my YouTube if people want to go back further down on my channel. It was called Home of the Future. Basically that was an energy based game, so it's sort of how to make your home more eco-friendly. It was for a company, so it was done by high school children, like high school people. I don't want to say children because you're not children at that point, but it was done by them, and then I basically recreated it, made it better in a gaming engine, because they did it not in a game engine. They just did it as like a sort of competition, and then I took it a lot further. So that's kind of my university experience, sort of how my course was, what I studied, and I'll see you in my next video.